I would describe it as all action. I'm a come forward, aggressive fighter. My opponents won't have to go looking for me. I'll be in front of them all the time. So I rarely find myself in a boring fight because of my style. You know, I'm there in front of my opponent. So I'm coming to fight. So I would describe it as all action style. I would say my strengths is my engine and my power. They stand well to me, you know, as the rounds go on, especially now in the pros. And the amateurs, I didn't really have as much time to work on my opponents, and the engine didn't come into play as much. I was sort of, you know, towards the end of the fight, maybe come the third round, but definitely my strengths would be my engine and I think my power. Hopefully they'll start to, you know, show even more as the rounds progress now in the pros and as the fight rounds increase. And yeah, I would say that would be my strengths. I first got into boxing when I was 9. I actually only started boxing because I wanted to lose a bit of weight, and I was playing football at the time. So I come from a big footballing family. My dad's a footballing coach, and my two brothers both play football. So there's actually very little boxing in my family. We're all footballers, but that's how I started. Just to lose a bit of weight and to get fit. And I suppose once I went in, I never really looked back. Started enjoying it, started fighting, and the more I got into boxing, the more my love for it grew. And you know, I stuck to that, and here I am. 12 years later, 13 years later, still fighting and hoping to make a good career and a living out of it. I've looked up to Triple G now for years, you know, as middleweight domination. Just inspires me, to be honest, how respectful he is out of the ring to his opponents and to everybody, and to boxing, and then how, you know, he's a complete different animal then in the ring. He's just, you know, he's an absolute killer when he walks through the ropes. I've looked up to Triple G now for years, and you know, I'm not a middleweight, I'm a light middleweight, but he's around my weight as well, and it's just, you know, the things he's done in the sport are the things I can only dream of doing one day. And he's definitely somebody I've looked up to and admired for years. So I probably had about 120 odd fights, so I was quite experienced as an amateur. I won 8 national titles. I boxed for Ireland and the Europeans 4 times, and I boxed at the World Championships in Russia. Every international competition I've boxed at, 4 times the Europeans and the Worlds were all in Russia. So I'm well schooled when it comes to my Russian. I boxed in the Commonwealth Youths as well. I won a silver medal at the Commonwealth Youths, and I won bronze at the Europeans. So quite experienced as an amateur. Have a lot of experience. They take into the pros, and you know, a lot of fights behind me. So hopefully that'll stand well to me now as I build myself in the pro game, and hopefully I can have similar success. So I signed with Sheer Sports Management, who are actually based in LA, which is many miles away from here. But some of the Irish fighters in the past have relocated over to LA and to America to, you know, when they've signed with Sheer Sports. And that wasn't really, you know, it was something that I would definitely consider, but it was not my first choice, if I'm honest. And they suggested that, you know, they had worked with Ricky Hatton before, and you know, that I want to come over here for a week to try it out and to see how the relationship was and to see how I felt about training over here. So last summer, I came over for, well, actually the summer before last. Now I forgot about the year of the pandemic there, but I came over for 5 days. Spent 5 days here training with Ricky and Blaine and all the lads. Had a spar over here, a few rounds in the pads with Ricky each day, and you know, seeing how our relationship built, and I loved it, to be honest. And once I went home after the 5 days, I knew that I would have been absolutely delighted to come over here. So it was just a matter of getting things done then with Sheer Sports and sorting things out here with Ricky, and then making the move over here, which I have done. And I've been here now quite a while. I've only had one fight with these lads, but I've been here quite a while, and I'm learning every day. I'm improving every day, so I'm delighted to be here, and you know I'm very lucky to be under a legend in Ricky Hatton, and somebody who's been there and done it all before. That's brilliant for me. You know, there's a lot of fighters out there at the minute that don't know when their next fight's going to come up. I'm in a very fortunate position that I have McGinty, who's able to provide them platforms that that us boxers need to showcase their skills. And the amateurs is one thing you always had was regular fights. So you may have had maybe 2 fights in a weekend or 3 or 4 fights every couple of weeks, you know, in tournaments. So, you know, I'm looking forward to getting that momentum back where you're having a run of fights and it's not this big long layoff between each fight. I want to get that one momentum back. I want to, you know, start winning, start feeling good and looking forward to my next fight, and not having them big long layoffs in between where maybe you get out of shape and you have to start again. I want to just hopefully, you know, my next fight, hopefully fight, do well, win obviously, and then instead of going maybe 3 or 4 weeks and waiting on word on your next fight, maybe a week off to chill out, and then to get rattled back into it and start building that momentum of regular fights and regular wins. It gives me a lot of confidence, to be honest, because I went from fighting 3 rounders to straight into a 6 rounder, which wasn't the initial plan, but it's how it worked out. He was a tough opponent. He definitely was. He was southpaw as well, which didn't make it any easier. So it was a tough fight for me to take, but it was a fight I was always confident of winning.
Making his professional debut this evening, introducing Brett McGinty.
I did very well at times in the fight and not so well at other times. Looking back, there's definitely things I could have done better, but that's just, you know, that was just, I had the debut nerves, and I suppose I had some people don't know I was almost 2 years in activity before that fight, so it would be nearly 2 years previous since my last fight, so I had that hanging over me getting into the ring, and also, you know, them extra nerves of it being your pro debut. But all things considered, I was pretty happy with how the debut went. I thought I performed well enough. If I'd done it again, I think I would obviously do better, but I was really happy. I got 6 rounds under my belt. There was times in the fight where I had a bit of a gut check where, you know, the fight was, you know, it was really, you know, it was really tough, and I had to dig deep and dig in and show that I had a bit about me, and I think I did that. And I think those who seen the fight and watched it back were you know, really impressed and really happy to see somebody who was just willing to get in there and fight, whether it was going to be a tough fight for them or not, especially in their pro debut. They can expect a very fit, strong version of me. And improved from my last fight. I've trained very hard for this fight. I feel I'm in great shape. I'm ready for it, and they can expect a really good, polished performance. Explosive. You know, I'm coming. As I say, I'm an all-action fighter. My opponent won't have to go looking for me. I'll be there in front of him, coming to fight. So they can expect an explosive performance. But I've trained really hard for this. I'm in a really good physical and mental condition, so really looking forward to it, and they can expect an all-action performance from me.